In Lecture 5, we will look at financial services provider licenses, compliance functions, as well as accounting records. With regards to suspension and withdrawal of the license, the registrar may suspend or withdraw the license of an FSP if he no longer complies with the fit and proper requirements. This is applicable to the natural people. With regards to trusts and partnerships, it looks at the key individuals of those trusts, partnerships, and corporate bodies. If they do not disclose all relevant information, so the registrar will decide what relevant information is, and if they don't disclose or they provide false or misleading information, their license will be withdrawn. If they fail to comply with a provision of the Act, if they have not paid a levy, penalty, or administrative sanction, if they do not have an approved key individual, if they fail to comply with a directive, or any condition under the Act. When the license is suspended or withdrawn, the registrar needs to inform the FSP of their intention to withdraw, because according to administrative law, you have to give them an opportunity to respond, to give a reason why they did not comply, or perhaps there was a misunderstanding. You cannot just unilaterally withdraw a license. So they must also give a period that the license is suspended. So if it is suspended for a certain amount of time, in order to correct something, you need to give a period. And during that suspension period, the financial services provider is not authorized to act as an FSP. With regards to the compliance function, they need to have a function that is an established part of the risk management framework. It must either be an individual or it can be a compliance department, depending on the size of the firm. That compliance function needs to be exercised with diligence, care, and competency. They need to ensure that the firm is complying with all the regulations that it needs to, and they need to provide a report with regards to the progress that it has achieved, with regards to the monitoring, and it then makes recommendation with regards to specific aspects. So if they recommend that a certain action is taken in order to comply better, the FSP or their key individual will be able to implement that change. With regards to accounting records, these are very important. So firms need to keep proper accounting records. They must maintain these records on a continuous basis, and they need to contain certain things. The financial position of the entity at financial year end. Financial year end differs with regards to entities. The results of the operations and their cash balances at the time. So what is happening physically within the operation of the company, changes in the entities, and a summary of their significant accounting policies. So generally accounting policies are standardized by IFRS, but not everything is standardized, so they need a summary of those policies. These statements are audited and reported on by an external auditor, so they need someone that is not in the firm to say that their policies are okay. They need to maintain them on a continuous basis, and they need to be dated and organized properly. So when they are submitted to the registrar, he knows exactly what he is looking for. The auditor must then report to the registrar if there are any irregularities, and this report must be done in writing. If an auditor is terminated, a report must be given to the registrar with the reasons of the termination, because when an auditor is appointed, the registrar approves that appointment. So it only makes sense that when they are terminated, reasons are given to the registrar. If the auditor had an irregularity to report before the termination, they must still file that report. So regardless of the termination, they still need to report on the irregularity. The registrar themselves may also terminate the appointment of the auditor if the auditor no longer complies with certain requirements, as long as the registrar provides reasons and gives the FSP auditor an opportunity to be heard. Remember, administrative law says you cannot unilaterally make that kind of decision. And he must also consider any submissions made by the FSP themselves or the auditor.